इति नामिने नमोऽचार्यपदाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने गौरकदादामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रसाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्ति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल Hare Krishna. So today we are continuing with the exams. So right now the people who have given him, okay, Santosh Nitai Prabhu is here. So he can, Santosh Nitai Prabhu, are you ready?
Mataji.
Okay, 1 second, let me start the timer. Just a second.
फॉर्मेट पता है?
Okay, Hare Krishna, Santosh Nitai Prabhu, your time is starts now.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामीति नामिने नमो आचार्यपादाय निताय कृपाप्रदायिने गौरकथाधामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So the topic is describe in your own words practical ways and the benefits therein of applying the Isavashya principle in society in general, ISKCON, your life, your own life. Okay. So I'm starting. So Ishavasya principle illustrates that one should consider this fact that whatever be it animate, inanimate in this entire cosmic manifestation is governed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. When one knows and assimilates this fact in his life, then it becomes very natural for any sane man to first not lord it over any material possessions and utilize the resources only for the needs. This, in fact, reduces the viability of conflict, thereby resulting in peace and prosperity among individuals. Okay, so this is the principle of Isavasya, where you not only understand the fact that Lord Krishna is the supreme controller of everything, but use this principle in your day to day activities to lead Krishna conscious life. Now, the question arises, Why it is important? People in general are basically driven by moral principles. These principles can be plucked somewhere from any Vedas, Vedic injunctions to lead a sane life, which in turn may seem very religious, friendly, and peaceful to others, but it's not. Consider the fact that someone may be vegetarian now, albeit Vedas do instruct that human beings should not kill animals for eating purpose, but this would not avoid the transgression of laws of nature. Therefore, one should offer it to Lord Sri Krishna. Then only you are actually abiding by the laws of nature. So, talking by practical ways, whatever resources you use it for the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Now, one may ponder, how do I use everything for the service of Lord Krishna? I do not remember my Lord. All I see is Lord Krishna in the form of a deity in temples, although I can serve the Lord directly in temples, but occasionally. How do I do it every second? So, this actually, though, which demarcates between what the activities which are on spiritual plane and material plane, which would not, this would not result in the progress of your advancement on spiritual plane. Therefore, one should always perform akarma activities which frees an individual soul from the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, when you demarcate between what something which is on spiritual plane and something which is on material plane, you tend to do karma when you are actually akarma when you are actually doing which you are thinking to be on a spiritual plane, and then go back again doing karma when you are thinking to it to be on a material plane, which will again bind you and shackle you in the clutches of Maya. All in all, devotional life you can perform only not only in the spiritual platform, but also since you have to execute your duties. So I'll just go through the process which Srila Prabhupada has given us in the Isopanisad. So, delving deeper in the Ishavasya principle, one cannot attain the state of Naishya karma, which is akarma, without executing prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. Thus, by doing so, you gradually realize the supremacy of Lord Sri Krishna. And then, when you act, not acting under, then when you act, you are actually not acting under the modes of material nature, which will actually cut the knot of nescience, which will get rid of the get you rid of the clutches. So this process, first you have to we have to understand that we have to execute our prescribed duties based on Vedic injunctions. Then when you keep on executing it, then you realize gradually the supremacy of Lord Sri Krishna. This is the, like, since we are delving deeper into the Ishavasya principle, this actually is the Ishavasya principle. And then when you act, considering the supremacy of Lord Sri Krishna, you are actually not acting under the modes, and this will cut the knot. So, how simple, just by executing your prescribed duties according to Vedic injunctions and realizing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you will get rid of these clutches. Now, coming to society, every individual should act and execute their prescribed duties according to Vedic injunctions first, and second, gradually they'll realize the supremacy and they then won't act under the modes. Therefore, if one really wants to do something for the society, he should act Krishna centered, not giving some sort of charity or living for the nation, because all these so called welfares is an extended form of self interest. So, in the words of Srila Prabhupada, a humbled God-centered life is more valuable than a colossal hoax. So colossal hoax in what is bada dhokha. So it's a big deceit. Than a colossal hoax of a life dedicated to godless altruism or socialism. So if you don't lead a God-centered life, you are actually very deceitful. You cannot take someone's property and claim it as yours. You also have to accept his authority. So okay, so someone may tell, okay, I understood that I have to accept this fact that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then I have to act Krishna centered. But why? And then how? So why? Because you are not a jerk. As there are only two types of human beings, as stated in the third verse of Ishopanishad, Suras and Asuras. throughout the universe. There is nothing in between. Either you act accordingly or you act against. And to act accordingly is not to be chosen, it's your responsibility. And then I don't know how to exactly act accordingly, how to act accordingly to Vedic injunctions. And then, so, okay, it's true. Someone may ask that, okay, I understand the fact, but then how to act accordingly? Yes, it's true. Since as individual souls, as a human being, we are all conditioned, and we are all having four defects. We have imperfect senses, we tend to commit mistake, we are subject to be illusioned, and we have cheating propensity. So all these blessings won't help you to execute the responsibilities. Therefore, to cross over the ocean of nations, you need an expert boatman who is going to help you in, and that is your spiritual master, who is an expert in the science of Krishna consciousness, and who is sent by the Lord himself to help you. So in the words of Srila Prabhupada, after all these favorable breezes orchestrated by the Lord, and the boatman rowing your boat to ply smoothly to the desired destination, if you do not utilize this, then you are a atmaha, killer of soul, and a greatest fool. So the conclusion is, thus, as human beings, we are not simply here for solving our economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all these problems of material life into which we are placed by the laws of nature. So, this is the conclusion. Hare Krishna.
Very bold, very good. Okay. So, yes, thank you very much. Next is Mohini. Hare Krishna. Are you
Hare
ready?
Krishna.
Yeah,
Yes,
just a second. Your time starts now.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले सुमतिजगतः स्वामिनिति नामिने नमाचार्यवरं जगद्गुरुप्रदायिने गौरवदधामते नवग्रामतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. Hare Krishna. So my topic is describe in your own words the practical ways and the benefits of applying the Ishavasya principle in the society or ISKCON or in your own life. So the meaning of Ishavashyam is the Isha, that is by the Lord, and the Avashyam, that is control. So, whatever is there in the universe is controlled by the Lord. Ishavashyam depicts that everything, animates or inanimates, that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. So, one should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which is set aside as his quota, and not should not accept the other things, knowing well to whom they belong. The Supreme Being, the absolute personality of Godhead, is a complete person. So he has a complete and perfect intelligence to adjust everything by means of his different potencies. The Supreme Being is like a fire, and every organic and inorganic is like heat and light of that fire. Just as fire distribute energy in the form of heat and light, the in the form of heat and light, the Lord displays his energy in different ways. So he is full of inconceivable opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. One should be intelligent enough to know that except Lord, no one is the proprietor of anything. So, for example, in the modern days, there is always a quarrel between the laborers and capitalists. So, there can be no peace if the capitalists claim the proprietorship over the resource of nature, which are entirely the property of the Lord. Concept of Ishavashyam can stop the quarrel between the laborer and the capitalist. The human race should take the Vedic wisdom of Sri Isopanisad and not quarrel over the material possessions. One must be satisfied with whom the privilege, but whatever privileges are given to him by the mercy of the Lord. So in our daily life also, we often see that sometimes someone gets too much attached with the positions he or she may acquire in the job, and thinks that he or she is the proprietor of that company. But this brings the miseries in life, as we all knows that the Lord is the ultimate controllers and the owners of everything, and with his mercy only we get the positions, name, fame, whatever we achieved in the life. So the animal do not have the developed consciousness by which to recognize the Lord. But the human being is sufficiently intelligent to take the lesson from the Vedic literatures and thereby know how the law of natures are working and derive the profit out of such knowledge. The living entities has to work for his livelihood because there is a law of material natures, and if he does not act according to his prescribed duties, he transgresses the law of nature and bind himself more and more to the cycle of birth and death. So there are three types of karmas: karma, akarma, and vikarma. The action that are performed in terms of one's personal prescribed duties called karma. An action that free one from the cycle of birth and death called akarma. An action that performed through the misuse of one's freedom and that directs one to lower form of life is vikarma. The personality of Godhead says that one cannot attain the state of the akarma without executing the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature. Human beings should realize the authority of the Supreme Being. After the realization of the authority of Supreme Being, one can attain the purified stage of mood of nature. Goodness, patience, and ignorance cannot act, and then he is able to work on the basis of the nishkarma, that is the karma. Work doesn't bind one to the cycle of birth and death. Factually, no one has to do anything more than render the devotional service to the Lord. Uh, by for in ISKCON, we see that they are maintaining the Ishavasham principle very nicely. So we're seeing that each and every ISKCON temple having their own resources, and they run the temple by utilizing their own resource that is set aside as their quota. One temple do not claim the proprietorship to the other temple. Each and every temple maintains their system from their own resources without claiming the other temple's resources. So the root of the sin is deliberate disobedience to the law of nature through disregarding the proprietorship of the Lord. Ishavasham is the God-centered conception. Lord Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita that God-centered activities are so valuable that it can save a person from the greatest dangers of gliding down again into the evolutionary cycle of the birth and death among 84 lakh species. The humble God-centered life is more valuable than a colossal hoax of a life dedicated to this godless socialism. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, stop. The time is too less. You finished less than 6 minutes. Okay. Now let's go to Sadanandini, Vishnupriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Pranams. Right. Are you ready?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Namo Vishnu
Your time
Padaya.
starts now. Yeah.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Jayapataka Swamiti Namini Namo Acharya Pada Nitya Kripa Padayani Gauragada Damadara Nagar Grama Tarini Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Desha Tarin Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, I'm describing in my own words the practical ways and benefits therein of applying the Ishavasya principle in society in general, ISKCON, and in our life. So, Isopanisad mantra states that Ishavasya midam sarvam yat kichita jagata jada tena taktena bhunjita magraha karsya siddhanam. So everything animates or inanimates that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. So, with this, it is clear that the Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is the real proprietor. He is the creator and controller of the whole universe. So, the living entities and the inanimate objects are all controlled by the laws of nature by the potency of the Lord. The elements of nature, earth, fire, water, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and ego all belongs to the inferior of material energy of the Lord. So everything, both the para and apara, emanates of Lord, and all is under the proprietary right of Supreme Being. So one should be satisfied with whatever is given by the mercy of the Lord, and knowing that if one, like an ignorant person, claims to be the proprietor of the resources of the nature, which are entirely the property of the Lord, then there will be no peace. Thus, the human need to follow the instructions of the Lord to bring peace in the world. In society, we see that peoples are quarreling like cats and dogs, and without understanding that the human life is received by them due to the meditation of their past deeds in the life, to lead a life with a responsibility. Humans need to recognize the authority of the Supreme to lead a peaceful life. Lord has explained clearly that this human form of life is preparation for our next life. And if we follow these scriptures and lead a detached life, not longing for the fruit of karma, then only one can elevate oneself to the perfection than to liberation. As per the law of nature, the living entity has to work for the livelihood. And if we understand that the Lord is the proprietor and manages the house in which he lives in, as the house of given by Krishna to him to dwell in with his family, and consider dependents like wife, children to be the property of the God, and is responsible to take care of them, and uses the salary that he earns to buy the goods to prepare prasadam and offer to the Lord, and partakes only the remittance, then he can live in peace and harmony. The human need to control his senses and lead a regulated life. In society, one need to understand the responsibility. He need to be a proper gentleman himself and learn to give proper respect to others, and advices given in the Vedas need to be adopted in one's life. One need to long for his basic necessities only, and need not do the atihara in respect of any material things. The parents need to nurture their children in Krishna consciousness, and if every parent take the responsibility, then one day the society and the whole world will come under the purview of Ishavasya principle. The most important thing is one need to accept bona fide guru and to act as per the instruction. The human life is attained after many evolutions of transmigrations of the soul. The material world in which we are in is like a ocean, and the human body is a boat to cross the ocean. And the bona fide guru and scriptures help us to apply the desired destination. All facilities suggested in the mantra of Isopanisad can easily be obtained by the constant contact with the personal features of the absolute truth. Devotional service to the Lord, consisting of the Navavidya Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, began the society with the aim to propagate spiritual knowledge to the society at large, and has set the four regulatory principles, introduced various books as it is, without any adulteration, with which the human can understand the real goal of the life and go back to Godhead. And there are, and we have seen that abiding by the nine Navavida Bhakti, the devotees are benefited. Maharaj Parikshit achieved the desired result by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Just by glorifying the Lord, Sukdev Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, achieved the perfection. By praying the Akurva, achieved the desired result. By remembering Prahlad Maharaj, achieved the desired result. By worshipping Partha Maharaj, achieved the perfection. By seeing the Lord, serving the lotus feet, the Lord of the goddess of fortune achieved the perfection. So by personal service to the Lord, Hanuman achieved the desired result. By the friendship, Arjuna achieved the desired result, and by surrendering everything that Bali Maharaj achieved the desired result. So Ishopanishad principles is follow shall bring one near to the Supreme Lord, and now, one who abide by the Ishavasya principle does not have to be afraid. He can live happily, and the laws of nature does not act upon him. And one who do not follow the Ishavasya principle will degrade himself and is thrown into the pool of repeated birth and life after life. Such people, as per Srila Prabhupada, is a killer of soul. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, thank you. Next is Sakshi.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your time starts now.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripapadayane Gauragata Dhamadaya Nagargram Tarne Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Nivadi Bhasha Kadeshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So my topic for today is establish in your own words the personal form of the Lord in reference to the purports, analogies, and mentioned in Sri Isopanisad. So Brahma Samhita states that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna or Govinda, has innumerable forms, Ananta Rupam, but they are all one, Advaitam. They are not like our forms, which are fallible. His form is infallible and has no beginning. Anadiradi Govinda. Again, we see this verse in Brahma Samhita. Krishna can be everywhere at one time. Unlike our limited form, he is all pervading. Just like the sun, yet he is situated in one place, just as the sun is situated in its own undeviating orbit. He is the origin and the oldest. At the same time, his form is ever youthful, Navayovanam. The form of the Supreme Lord is unembodied. There is no difference between his body and his soul. Unlike our body, which is made of veins and flesh, the Supreme Lord is complete whole, and his mind, body, and he himself are all one and the same. With each and every part of his body, he can perform the work of other senses. He is omnipotent and can expand in various forms, such as Rama, Baldeva, and also as the Archa Vigraha in the temple. Sri Brahma Samhita 5.1 states, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. Thus, the complete whole is not formless. He is complete and perfect, and from him emanates all the things, this cosmic manifestation. When we, the Jivas, as part of this cosmic manifestation, have a form, how can he, being the Supreme Lord from which everything is emanating, be formless? Arguing the Lord to be formless would mean he is less than his creations, which refutes the very verse which says that the Lord is a complete whole. The complete whole must contain everything within and beyond our experience. Otherwise, he cannot be complete whole. There are three levels of realizing the supreme absolute truth. There is Brahman realization, which reveals the Satta aspect of the supreme whole. If one goes beyond that, he can realize the Paramatma aspect, which reveals both Sat and Chitta features, truth and eternity. Further beyond, one can attain the perfect and complete realization of the eternal blissful form of the Lord as Bhagavan. The Brahman and Paramatma are partial realizations of the complete whole. Just like when one sees the sun, they can merely perceive the sun rays. However, that's not all. There is a sun planet whose presiding deity is the sun god. Based on the perception of our senses, we may conclude the sun as only the sun rays. But there's more to it as stated above. Behind the rays is a whole planet which is further ruled by a sun god. The sun's rays constitute a part of the sun, and the sun and its rays conjointly constitute the complete sun. Within the sun itself resides the sun god. Similarly, within the supreme spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavan, from which Brahmajyoti effulgence is emanating, the Lord resides and enjoys his eternal pastimes. The Brahmajyoti is the rays emanating from the supreme spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavan. Until one surpasses the glare of the Brahmajyoti, one cannot receive information about the land of the Lord nor his transcendental form. In Brahma Samhita 5.37, it is stated that the Supreme Lord stays in his transcendental abode, Goloka Vrindavan, yet by his inconceivable potencies, simultaneously reaches every part of his creative energy. The Supreme Lord is present everywhere in the form of his energies. Although his energies are innumerable, there are three principal energies: internal potency, marginal potency, and external potency. Though the Lord and his energies are non-different, one should not mistake these energies as the supreme truth and defy the personal form of the Lord. These energies are the impersonal aspect of the supreme whole, and just because the supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally in the form of his energies does not mean he loses his personal existence. Just like the heat and light are the impersonal aspects of the fire, presence of heat and light cannot negate the presence of fire. Sri Isha Upanishad, further supporting the personal form of the Lord, states, Tad ijati tan nai jati, tad dure tad vi antike, tad antar asya sarvasya, tad u sarvasya yasya bahuyata. Isha Upanishad Mantra 5. The Lord walks and does not walk. If someone can walk, it is actually illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, it indicates his inconceivable power. The Lord is very far away, but near also. The spiritual sky is situated far, far away, and yet within less than a second, Lord can descend before us with a speed swifter than mind or wind. He can also run so swiftly that no one can surpass him. Just like when Prahlad Maharaj told his father about the all-pervading feature of the Lord and him being present in the pillar as well, when Hiranyakashipu struck the pillar, the Supreme Lord instantly appeared in half-man, half-lion form of Nrsingadev. For the Supreme Lord, there is no difference between material and spiritual energies. He is the source of all. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot actually accommodate such contradictions. Thus, end up conceiving Lord in terms of our limited powers. In our present state of imperfect senses, we cannot see the Supreme Lord, but that cannot imply there is no personal form of the Lord. The impersonalist philosophers accept only the impersonal feature of the Lord and reject the personal aspect. But the perfect conception of the Lord is accepting his inconceivable potencies and thus understanding he is both personal and impersonal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you. Now, Abhishek Sinha, are you ready? Abhishek Sinha Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Mataji, I am ready.
Okay, so your time starts now.
Okay. Prayers. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasme Sri Guruve Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pisthaya Bhutale Srimate Jakataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayane Gaur Katha Dhamdaya Nagar Gramatarine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pisthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschadya Satarane. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. The topic for my essay is describe in your own words the practical ways and the benefits of applying the Isavasyam principle in society in general, ISKCON, and in your own life. So the word Isavasyam is a Sanskrit word that is formed by combining two root words, Isa plus Avasyam. The word Isa means by the Lord and Avasyam means controlled. Thus, the word Isavasyam means controlled by the Lord. Now the question arises, what is Isavasyam principle and what are the benefits of applying the Isavasyam principle? So this is explained in the Vedic scriptures, which are the authoritative source of real knowledge, like Isopanisad. Here it contains the information concerning the proprietorship of all things existing within the universe. In Sri Isopanisad invocation mantra, it is said that the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. So here the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, who is the Sachidananda Vigraha. He, in Brahma Samhita, it is mentioned that he has an eternal blissful body. He is the origin of all and he has no other origin, and he is the prime causes of all causes. In this subsequent verse of Sri Upanishad, it is explained about the Isavasyam principle, that Isavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat ten tyaktena bhunjita magrida kasvidhanam. That means everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord Krishna. So one should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. So everything that exists is owned and controlled by Krishna. The facilities that are being used by mankind and considered as their own are in reality owned and controlled by Krishna. The living entities are part and parcel of the complete whole, Krishna, like fire and the spark, or like the sea and sea water, sea drop. Like qualitatively, the living entities are similar in nature, but quantitatively, we are not equal to Krishna. And when they forget their relationship with Krishna, they falsely consider themselves as the owner and controller. So here Isavasyam principle help us to recognize the original authority, the supreme controller and owner Krishna, and act in this principle in accordance with the system created by Krishna. That is to take only those things necessary for ourselves and under our quota, and not to take anything other than that, knowing well that these things belong to Krishna. Now, coming to the benefits of following Isavasyam principle, there are several benefits of following. So the points are: first, satisfaction and real happiness. The second is peace in the whole world. And the third, freedom from karmic bondage. And the fourth is that one can utilize the facilities as per the Savasyam principle for the self-realization and thus cross this material ocean of repeated birth and death struggles. So this point I will explain point by point. First is satisfaction and real happiness. So satisfaction of Krishna is satisfies the complete whole, and this consequently satisfies the living entities themselves, who are his part and parcel. So this is the real and permanent happiness. Just like the analogy of a hand and a body. The hand of a body is complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. But when the hand is severed from the body, it may appear like a hand, but it is lost all its potency. So similarly, when living entities, they are severed from, disconnected from the Krishna or the complete whole, they, that illusory situation that cannot fully satisfies them. Just another analogy can be given, like that of watering the root of a plant versus watering the branches and the leaves. By watering the root, we are satisfying the Krishna, means by serving or acting in this as per the will of Krishna, we are satisfying both Krishna and subsequently ourselves. But going for the sense gratification or for against the will of Krishna, we are just watering the uh, branches and the leaves. Second point is peace in the whole world. So there is constant fighting and competition between the capitalists and communists in the world, like who can claim more and more resources for their own selfish use. Prabhupada gave examples like nuclear bombs are there in both communist and capitalist, and if they both these type of countries do not recognize the proprietorship of Krishna, then they will fight continuously and ultimately ruin both these parties. So, another, if we act in the principle of Isavasyam, then one can only accept those things uh, which are under given to us under our quota. Like, for example, we eat only the food prasadam that is offered to Krishna, like whatever fruits, leaves, vegetables, milk, water that is offered Krishna first we eat, and we stop. We don't eat the meat of the animals because it is not sanctioned by Krishna. We stopped killing animals for to satisfy the taste buds because Krishna has not allowed us to eat the meat. Krishna has given the tigers and lions the long canine teeth, but not to human beings because human beings are not supposed to eat meat. So, by following this Isavasyam principle, one stops the unnecessary violence and uh, consequently the peace. It helps to in the peace in the world. The third point is freedom from karmic bondage. So when living entities attains a human life, he gets the chance to get free from the chains of karma. So karma and vikarma are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, like the actions that free one from the cycle of birth and death are called akarma, and the action when one misuses one's freedom, then it directs one to the lower life forms and are called as vikarma. So when one realizes the authority of Krishna, then in this purified stage that he acts on the basis of neskarmya, means that such work doesn't bind ones to the cycle of birth and death. And the solution is given in the Bhagavad Gita when Krishna says that one cannot attain the state of neskarmya or akarma without executing the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature. So this literature helps us to regulate the working energy of human being in such way that we can gradually realize the authority of Supreme Lord. And the last point is one can utilize this principle to for self-realization and thus cross the material ocean of repeated birth and death. So the boat analogy is given, like human beings get this life form after 84 like species of evolution. So in this form of life, he is given the chance to understand the Krishna. And if he doesn't utilize this form of life, then he again goes back to the cycle of birth and death. So, and here the boat analogy is explained as like this material world is compared to an ocean and human body is compared to a boat. So, and the Vedic scriptures and the acharyas, the spiritual master, are compared to expert boatmen. So the facilities whatever given in this human body are the favorable bridges. And this boat, that is our human form of life, is meant to sail to its desired destination. That is to go, means attain Krishna. And if one doesn't utilize this for self-realization, then he is considered as Atma. So if one acts in these...
Already time up.
Mataji, time is up.
Yes. 10 minutes, 25 seconds.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Thank you very much. Okay. How long you have? Conclusion is over. Is there more?
Mataji, I have the only the practical application. I will just summarize and conclusion.
No need to summarize. 10 minutes. If you don't stick to the timing, that's all. Time is over. You're part of your preparation. You should practice to prepare based on time. Okay, that is also part of the exam.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay. So if you speak less also, your marks will get reduced. And if you speak more time also, marks will get reduced. Less is 7 minutes minimum. Some of them finished at 6 minutes. That is also not acceptable. Some of them finished more than 10 minutes, then that is not acceptable. 1 or 2 did that. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, so we are almost coming to the conclusion. We have anybody else would like to do? Now today, Ayan Mandal Prabhu is traveling. He, Srikant, Bhakta Srikant Prabhu and Anu will do, because Anu is pregnant and about for delivery. And so the Ayan Mandal Prabhu and Srikant are submitting their essays in written format. Their reading will be later sometime. Okay. Because of, I can understand the emergency situation, but please don't take it as a practice. It is not acceptable otherwise. Okay, Ayan Mandal Prabhu may do tomorrow or any time ready. But because she is pregnant and she's about to get delivery, so we are giving a little time for the husband and wife. Ayan Mandal has to do in the next class. whenever it is happening. Okay, and you have your closed book test. Before we do the closed book test portion, there will be one mock exam which will be conducted, because you also have to get login and you have to test your login. And after logging in, how to go into the test and how to execute the test. So you have to be generated user ID password. So all these test has to happen. It may happen on Wednesday or Thursday with some sample questions, so that you will also know model exam how it is. So we'll have one model exam before your final exam, and the exam will carry only multiple choice questions, and it can be unmatch the following. That's all. Only two types of questions will be there. Match the following may be there, and choose the best answer. Only one answer. Multiple choice question, not with multiple choices. Everything mostly will be radio button, not check boxes. Check box means you can, the question may carry more than one answer, but most of the questions will be only one answer. So it's a definite one answer. So this will make it very easier for you, and you need not remember so much. You have to have a proper understanding. Little remembrance may be required, very little. Sanskrit words and all, not so much. We are not conducting a Sanskrit test, but we are conducting an understanding of Isopanisad. But it may appear anywhere from introduction, invocation, plus mantra 1 to mantra 18. From verse translation to purport, it can be anywhere. So you should have a complete overview one time. You better to go through it one time fully, so that any time in life you have already, if anybody asks how many times have you read Isopanisad, you can say 2 times minimum. And also you will be very thorough with the, because the random questions are going to come. But it is not going to be too very tough if you have understood the subject very clearly. You don't have any issues, because the answer is right there in front of you in the one of the choices. So if you're not very clear, then only you'll choose the wrong answer, but mostly you'll choose the right answer. Okay. Okay, so this is done about the exam. So kindly look at the group, keep looking at the group. The mock exam date will be announced. Mock online exam date will be announced. The mock exam will be 5 minutes, like that, 5 to 10 minutes, where you'll all log in, so that you will have a proper login for yourself. When you come to the real exam, then you can just easily log in and easily practice. Okay, that is done. As far as sloka is concerned, I have the names, but here everybody has done. Jivesh Prabhu has done. Santosh Nitai Prabhu already did, I saw. He started the process, I think. I don't know whether he did the Isopanisad, but he did the other sloka or... Okay, anyway, Om Govind Rai Prabhu has done. Sakshi has done. Sakshi did. Who didn't do here? Abhishek?
Mataji, I have done this sloka recitation.
Very good. Sumedha? Sumedha has done, I think I saw. So whoever is left out, I don't think anybody is left out. We don't have any more time. No time will be given, because I have done. Yes, Sumedha, I saw your video. So Santosh Nitai Prabhu has to update me, but if there is any mistake, then it will be a problem. So you need to post the name of the people who have completed the slokas in the group, so that if anybody is left out, has to get back to Santosh Nitai Prabhu. And today, okay, so the essay is over, then sloka is over, only closed book test is pending, because during Bhagavad Gita, no more pending should be there. When we are starting Bhagavad Gita, no more pending should be there. Okay. And okay, fine. That's it. All the best for your group studies. You can either do group study or private study. It's up to you. But complete Isopanisad overview you need to do. Mostly mock exam will be on Wednesday or Thursday. From Wednesday to Friday, it may be any day. I'll inform you once we have set up that, because we are switching over some platform. Once we are set up everything, then I will inform you. Then you can take up the test. And then the original test will be Saturday. No missing, no excuses. I didn't prepare, I this, that, nothing. Exam means exam. So all of you understand the seriousness which we give to our material education. In office, if they tell you there is a assessment or there is a training, we will just quietly go, right? So is it money is the only motivation? No, we are getting motivated by the attachment and affection for Krishna, Guru, right? So this is a way to show our commitment. So even if you don't perform too good, but it's very important to give an attempt. The attempt itself is a success. So if you put some efforts on it, that is the blessing of Krishna. But if you do zero effort, then Krishna will not appreciate. So there is an opportunity to remember the scriptures again, the opportunity to remember the understanding of Krishna consciousness. So you should take up that opportunity. And don't worry about your closed book exams. The results may not be announced publicly. You will be able to see the result immediately as soon as you complete the exam. So only I'll be able to see, and then the individual student will be able to see. So if you have to appear for a retest, but mostly there's no possibility of a retest. Better to go do it very nicely. And if due to the technical issues or whatever it is, if there has to be retest, that we need to check in the end. The sincerity, the attendance, everything will be seen. Whether you are coming to the classes regularly, you are participating actively in the activities, all these things count to give you another opportunity for retest or whatever it is. But simply for formality's sake, you cannot take the certificate. That is not good also. Because after you get certified, if somebody says, okay, you are Bhakti Shastri, what about this, what about that? If they ask some question, and you should be confident enough to face any of those questions based on the learnings. So that is possible provided you participate. When you participate, then it's very easy that you have heard it many times. And I'm repeating, I'm going back, we are going back again and again. So we won't come back to Isopanisad again. So this is the best opportunity to go once more and then do the exam. And because it's multiple choice, really you will be able to pass. Most people will get more than 85, 90. I'm 100% sure. Because it's multiple choice questions. So kindly, there is nothing much to remember, but there is certainly important to understand things. Certain remembrance has to be there about how things are, what is karma, vikarma, whatever is the purport, whatever is the sloka. You have to know basically, if anybody questions anything in Ishopanishad, yeah, you know. Maybe you need to refer a little bit, but you overall view, you know. That must be the status. Okay. So now we'll wind up here and keep looking at the group for the mock test timing. And if anybody has not, whoever has, Santosh Nitai Prabhu will put the list of people who have completed the slokas. And if your name is left out, you immediately give the name. Or if you have not done the sloka, kindly do it immediately. There's no more time will be given later. And if you want to do group study, of course, this Zoom link is open for you. You can come every day and you can keep reading or preparing, taking notes. If you are not finding time individually to do it, you can do it with a group. It's up to you. You people decide how you want to go about it. You can even individually read it and take some notes and keep important points you can note down. Like that you can do. You can just go through the book if you have. Whenever I give time for open book exam or closed book exam, it's a study holiday is not given just to have a party. Just go to the Sunday feast temple and nicely enjoy kirtan, dance, and forget the scriptures. Now, Prabhupada said that every day you have to read. Every day, Guru Maharaj, from that time of his initiation till today, every day he has something or other to read. At least 20 minutes he'll read. Nowadays, somebody will read for him, he will hear before sleeping. Every day. Now, if you go to Jayapataka Swami app, they are updating. So Srimad Bhagavatam he started and he completed. We can see him complete. Today I finished this chapter, this sloka to this sloka in this chapter. Today I finished this. In this way, complete Bhagavatam he put. Within 1 or 2 years, he completed the full Bhagavatam. And then again, now he is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Leela is over. Now he is in Madhya Leela. Very consistent reading, but little reading every day, but consistent. Bhagavatam, he used to complete at least 20-30 slokas a day minimum. Somebody reads and he just hears like that. So nowadays, but earlier he used to read all for himself. This is a very great example, Guru Maharaj and all. So we have to nourish our Bhakti Kripa by chanting and also being in touch with Krishna through Srila Prabhupada by reading his books. He put all these efforts only for us, and we should take advantage. Guru Prabhupada will be more happy than distributing books. If somebody is reading his books, he is more happy. So it's not that the book distribution is less important, but it's all important. But more than important book distribution is to read Srila Prabhupada's books, to explain to others what is there in the book. It's very important. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So this is like beyond the purview of this class, and also I just want to ask, can we have some sort of camp and all for all the devotees in future? Maybe after.
But the people are separate, different places. Your Bangalore, we have a good team. We have Santosh Nitai Prabhu, then Jivesh Prabhu, then now Srikant Prabhu is around Bangalore. He said till 13th or something. I asked him to contact you. I don't know. He may be busy. If he is possible, he may contact you. Then we have Jayalakshmi Mataji and Navneet Prabhu, Sumedha Mataji. They are all tied up with the temple with a very busy schedule of services. But still, if it is one day, it is possible. So mostly, but Govindarai Prabhu is in Baroda. What is that place? He is in Gujarat.
Surat.
Surat. Yes, Surat. And then Abhishek is in Kolkata. Akarshak is in Kolkata. Ayn Mandal Prabhu is in Kolkata. So how is it possible to have? You want to have a virtual camp or you want to have a physical? Mayapur, welcome. Let us see. I don't think, I don't know family members like Jayalakshmi and Navneet and all question. Others can plan something. We can have, maybe after we finish Bhagavad Gita, we can have some special get together where we travel together a little longer. It is too short time we were together. So I think when we finish Bhagavad Gita with a good extent, with a clarity, then there is a question of celebration. When the project is not started, what is celebration? When the project completes, there is a celebration. Doing nothing and having a camp, what does that mean? Team outings and everything is, of course, there is a motivation. But physically traveling, youth like you is possible. You plan something, boys anyway, you can plan. We were missing Puri. Preeti Rupini was telling that she wanted to come to Puri once more with all of you. And we have a real plan for Puri, Saturday to Saturday. But if somebody can, you people can take off for 2-3 days, then we can have something in Puri, Bhubaneswar. That will be easier for people in Hyderabad. We have Sakshi, we have Mohini, we have Preeti Rupini. 3 of them are in Hyderabad. And 1 or 2 are going to join in Bhagavad Gita. Another 3-4 people may join in Bhagavad Gita. They have requested. So let us see how it goes. And if you see Sadhanandini Mataji and Anu, they are from, and Srikant Prabhu, then Vinay Gauranga, what happened to him? Kindly follow up. He's missing this exam, then he's missing the entire course. If somebody is not interested to further continue, then they cannot be part of this. That you need to ensure what is happening in that line.
Okay, Mataji.
Andaman, 3 people are there. We have to find everybody's convenience. But Andaman is easy because there is regular flights to Calcutta. Calcutta is the nearest destination. Nearest or very frequently in touch destination. For them, coming to Mayapur will not be much of a trouble. Let us see. Let us first get into Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is more interesting and important book, and we all should be thorough, more thorough than what is Isopanisad. Now, Isopanisad itself, you will be thorough after the exam, I'm very sure. All your essays were very, very good. Most of you did very well. Almost all of you, very qualitative presentations. Very happy with the way it was presented. Except little deviations with 1 or 2 people, it is real quality. But timings are very bad timings. Some of them are very short. Quickly you're speaking. Santosh Nitai Prabhu's presentation today is a good example of how the presentation, how when you're asked to speak, you should be patient enough to Sakshis were good. They are all seniors and they already did Bhakti Shastri. So you people can go through that YouTube video and just see how they are patient in conveying that. Quickly reading and urgently telling is not required. There's no time. Practice. One time you need to practice with the timer. Every mobile has a stop clock. We go into clock, there is a stop clock. So you can use that stopwatch and check your timings and adjust it accordingly. And you should be able to condense it and elaborate it. This is a secret of presenting lectures. Is when you are given a subject, talk something about the Isopanisad. In 3 minutes, you should be able to present. In 30 minutes, you should be able to present. In 3 hours, you should be able to present. In 30 days, you should be able to present. 30 days, every day, 1 hour, you need to speak on Isopanisad. Totally 18 sloka plus invocation plus introduction, 20 portions are there. But so it depends, or you should be able to condense it and expand. That is the expertise of the subject. Once you become expertise in the subject, you can play around with it. So this expertization is very important, so that when we are asked to give either a lecture or a question answer, we'll be confident enough to face it. So timing is very, very important. That is, you make a juice out of it and give it in 3 minutes. Yes, you should be able to do. And if somebody says, no, you have half an hour, you can talk about it. Then half an hour you should never say that time is less, time is more. Don't try to thrust things. How much is possible within that period, that has to be conveyed. What is essential? So this is an art of essay making, lecture delivery. Gradually you will come into picture, because anyway, every portion is going to have a lecture like this. But too much deviation from the main subject of the book is not very much appreciated. So the relevance is very, very important. Timing is important. Second is the relevant. The question exactly has to be answered, and the reference portion which is given should be the primary. You should not deviate and go into some other subject, somewhere you heard all this. Of course, in your own words and in your own experiences, you can share. But they all should be supportive. They all should be supportive evidences for the main subject. So the deviation from the main subject, Isopanisad, if it is told Isopanisad this loka to this loka, then we have to stick back with that and support it from various aspects. So we should not get lost in, I know so many things, all those things I will tell here. No, that is not the aim. So most of you stick to it, but some of you weaved around here and there, and so that is not required. I think 1 or 2, not many. Talking totally away from Isopanisad. You have to watch your video, then you will know whether you have done it. I don't want to point out the names, but if you hear your video, you will understand. Go to YouTube and hear it. This is for your improvement. That whether how is your mind functioning? How is your consciousness functioning? Is it in proper lines, or it is weavering here and there and jumping there and there, and so many information, big words? Not required. Whatever is nicely given in the Isopanisad, nicely you should be able to present. The quality presentation. So when it is to exam, then you should really be serious about sticking back. So the relevance, it's called relevance. So when an answer is said to be correct to any question in the world, if there is a question in the world, somebody is asking a question, what is the right answer? The right answer is nothing but addressing the question. So the correctness is called relevance. So if there is a reference portion given, it has to be considered seriously. If a book name is given, that has to be considered seriously. Not that I know. Okay, I'll speak. I know. So this is the preparation. During the preparation, the question has to be addressed. That is the primary expectation, minimum expectation. So after that, you add on the informations to give stronger. You give analogies, you give examples, you give real life experiences. This you can add, and then you can quote sloka, not full sloka, you may not be able to remember, but certain Sanskrit words, certain one sentence of the sloka. In this way, if you know the full sloka, now many people quoted very nicely. So in this way, add additional strength to the main subject. So the main subject is the answer to the respective question from the respective reference. So if the question specifies a reference, that reference is the primary central aspect. Everything else is supportive evidences. So in that way, and you have to, like Akarshak and all starting, I don't want to mention the names, but the starting, the beginning was really, that's called icebreaker. Guru Maharaj uses this very nicely earlier. He is the first one to introduce icebreaker in ISKCON, where telling some story or asking some question, creating a curiosity in others. So there is an introduction portion, there is a body portion, and there must be a conclusion portion, which must clearly be evident. It should be evident. Of course, we don't say, now I will talk introduction. Now I will talk the body. Not like that. But it should be evident when you present it that where you are starting. So you can ask some curiosity question or something like that in the beginning, or you can crack a joke, or people may lose seriousness if it's fully a big joke, but a simple thought-provoking things you can tell, which is interesting, so that the audience attention you are bringing into you. And after that, you can start conveying your message. And then after that, you have to wind up very nicely. No, I don't have time. No, very bad. So if 10 minutes you need to speak, 9th minute you need to finish your speech. And in the 9th to 10 minute, you are going to give a conclusion. So from this, we understand that God, the Supreme Lord, can never be impersonal. That is established based on the various scriptures. In this way, just give a finishing touch, like a full stop. A nice finishing touch, and then like when they do kirtan, they go down, up, and then very nice kirtan, then gradually come down, and then they conclude. Jaya Prabhupada, they complete, they come down like that, and they wind up. So these are all the methodologies to give a presentation, because gradually you should be qualified to give authentic lectures, because your Shastri, your Bhakti Shastri degree holder is different from anybody and everybody simply coming and speaking anything and everything. So there must be a class, there must be a standard, and there is authentic based on Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So that is the practice we are undergoing. It's part of the training. But all of you have put efforts. Really, thank you very much for being with me. And my every day spending time with you is worth today, I feel. Thank you very much. Okay, Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripasindabhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo namo namo.
Thank you very much. Okay. So kindly look into the group. Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari
Hare
Bol.
Hare.